Hello and welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again live. Today is January 20th. It is noon here on the East Coast, and thank you for watching the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group. I'm your host, Jason Leeser, and if this is working for you, please do us a favor and tag a friend who loves tattoos. Tag everyone. Tag your family members, maybe someone you know that wants to become a tattoo artist. Maybe it's someone that you know that is already a tattoo artist, that maybe they're looking for, I don't know, maybe just another way to get better. Tag everyone you know. Even if it's someone that doesn't like tattoos, tag them anyway. We're always trying to get some more people involved, and we're always trying to get some more engagement in this channel. So please go ahead and just tag everyone you know. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo Community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious come together and are encouraged to join in these live streams, real world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help, have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. Right there, right on the ticker. Um, you can try it out for free. You don't have to subscribe right away. You can pick up a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon if you want to check it out and see what it's like to have a full Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. Or you can get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about goal setting and your unique goals. Or you can take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. Now, for fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself, I cannot stress this enough. The tattoo history course is amazing. Definitely go there and check that out. While at reinventingthetattoo.com, you can also find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. So, for example, if you wanted to jump into today's show, you could easily navigate over to the reinventingthetattoo.com website. Go to the events area and you'll find a full calendar that's populated with all of the upcoming shows here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo network. You can also find access to our Reinventing 24/7 channel, which has about 13 different episodes playing at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is compatible with all web-enabled devices. Whether it's a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, maybe it's, I don't know, anything that you can imagine that runs the internet. You can easily go there and you can easily stream some of these shows for free through the Reinventing 24/7 channel. While there, you can also take a look at our full catalog of professional development and purchase on-demand seminar videos from over 20 world-class tattooers. People like Bob Tyrell, BJ Betts, Andre Malcolm, and a whole lot more. They're all for sale at www.reinventingthetattoo.com. You can also find us in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, our Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which is available on all Roku-enabled devices. And you can find us in all of the major podcast directories, such as Apple and Spotify. Or you can do what most people do and just open up your web browser and do a quick search for Reinventing the Tattoo, and you'll find it all. It's very easy, except for the book, which is still currently out of print. You will not be able to get your hands on a copy of that from reinventingthetattoo.com. Your best bet would be eBay, but all of the books I've seen on eBay in the past little while are insanely expensive, so just be prepared. We do have a number of weekly staple shows we always encourage people to tune into. Starting off on Mondays at 9 a.m., we have Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom. Helps us get back to our roots of being a fine artist in today's tattoo world. We cover things such as sketching and fundamental layout of different things, color theory, different ways to shade things, anything that has to do with drawing. That's usually covered 9 a.m. Monday mornings, Drawing for Tattooers with James Wisdom. Following that, you have this show, which is the Skill Building Monday Drawing Group with me, Jason Leeser. And this is a great place for us to come to maybe hone some of our skills or build some of our skill set. Uh, really helps us put into place some of the fundamental things that, we learn throughout life. And whether it's how to deal with clients or how to, what's the latest Procreate hack or tip and trick. Maybe it's something that we're working on different paintings. All of these skills are always useful to us in everyday life. And this is a great place to come to help build that up. And capping off Mondays at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network, where we get to go through and do a deeper dive into what it's like to have a Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. Every week, we cover a different chapter or topic within the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon, and it really helps us push ourselves to become a better artist. It's a great way to go through and explore certain topics such as lighting or line drawings or color theory or any number of different texture or contrast. There's a whole list of stuff that we cover during the Monday evening drawing groups. I did the Monday evening drawing groups for about 2 years straight. And just from doing that alone, you can see a noticeable difference in the work that I was doing before I started doing that and the work that I'm doing now. So it's definitely worth the cost alone. If you were just looking to go somewhere, to hang out, to draw, to work on your skills, that's definitely the place to do it. That's 9 p.m. Monday evenings, and you will need to have a subscription for that. We do offer a subscription just for that per month. So it's, very affordable. Hope to see you guys there. And the capping off the week on Wednesdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we go through and we discuss all things business related within the tattoo industry. Whether that's travel visas or marketing and branding strategies, maybe it's client communication tips and tricks, all of those things, anything that has to do with the business side of tattooing, we discuss that during the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, and that's Wednesdays at noon. I would like to go through and take a quick minute to thank some of our sponsors and some of the people that make these shows happen. Starting off with WorldTattooEvents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. So if you are looking to plan a vacation, or if you are looking for the most current listing of tattoo events coming to a city or town near you, take a look at worldtattooevents.com. As we know, living in a post-pandemic era, there are still certain things that are getting rescheduled. So if you want the most up-to-date information on what's going on, when and where, or if you're planning a vacation, it's how I plan my vacations, take a look at worldtattooevents.com and they will keep you up to date. Would also like to thank tattoonow.com, technology for tattooers. The leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattooers of all levels. They're 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you're really looking for the tools to help you streamline your booking process, to really help you get more clients through the door that want to get the kind of work that you really want to do, take a look at tattoonow.com. They have been an industry leader in facilitating client management for over 20 years. They can also help you get a website together too. So if you're looking for a new one, take a look. Next, I would like to thank GuyAitchison.com. Guy Aitchison is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. You can go to GuyAitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, some of his tutorial DVDs, countless fine art prints, and the occasional oil painting. They're all for sale at GuyAitchison.com. Would also like to go through and say a very special thank you and quick shout out to Amy Nichols over at the Apprenticeship Diaries. This is the usual place where anyone that comes to me and asks about an apprenticeship, I say, hey, go here, listen to some of these podcast episodes. It'll really help you get a better idea of what it's like to be a tattoo apprentice. So for anyone looking for more information on that, take a look. It's a podcast, it's free. You might as well take a listen. And would also like to say hello and thank you to. Well, now why can't I do this? There we go. There we go. Much better. Would also like to say a very special thank you and shout out to boom, 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 tattoos.social. Um, this is the number one place to find like-minded and welcoming. It's a like-minded and welcoming community without all the drama and negativity you find on other social media tattoo communities. It combines a whole bunch of different places and networks, all focused on educating tattooers about fine art. Includes networks such as the Fireside Network, reinventingthetattoo.com, Paradise Gathering, and a whole lot more. Go take a look, check it out. It's tattoos.social. It is absolutely awesome. You will not be disappointed. As always, if you like today's show, we ask that you please go through, post a positive review on the channel, help us get the word out. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community. Or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. This way you can stay up to date with all future episodes coming at you here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And that kind of wraps up the intro for today. Let's see, we will save that. And let's see if we have anyone else in here. Looks like we do have Spirit in here. Spirit, I hope you. Let's see if you're here with us. Are you listening, Spirit?
I am indeed listening.
Welcome, welcome. Um, so today, I would like to give everyone an update. The past few weeks, I've been working on this dragon concept design, just playing around with like kind of like an Art Nouveau background and whatnot. That dragon has been sold as a back piece. So I will be doing a full back piece of that dragon. This You showed it to one of my clients. I printed it out, to work on it as a painting. And one of my clients came in and, as always, wanted a big, a nice big dragon. And they were originally thinking about their side, and I'm like, well, let's just take a look at it. Let's just hold it up to your back, just for grins, just for fun, right? And it fit beautifully. It was the perfect size and the perfect proportion to fit their back. And so now I'm going to be lining up a back piece to do. Just because I had that pinned up on my wall, someone saw it and liked it. It's one of the easiest ways to go through and start getting bigger projects for clients. Draw them, print them out the size you want to do them, and tape them to your wall. It works. Your clients will come in, even if they're getting something small, and they'll be like, wow, that's amazing. It's like, yeah, that's up for grabs. You want to get it? You know? It's a great way to go through and try to help you recruit people to get bigger stuff. Show them what it could look like. Hold it up to them. Let them imagine what it could look like on them. Maybe throw it on a 3D model or something like that, or take a picture of their back or their arm or their side or whatever, and then overlay it in Procreate and show them how awesome it could look, right?
That is brilliant. The taking a picture. Oh, that's so smart.
Why
I
not?
didn't think of that. That's
It's going to take
cool.
you, what, a total of 5 minutes to do that. And they're going to get an idea of what it could look like. And you know what? There's a pretty good chance they're going to be like, yo, that's awesome. That's sick. You know, when
Yeah,
when
that's
people
serious.
start to conceptualize what can really be done when you maximize the real estate of skin on the human body, they're like, okay, this makes sense, right? This idea is awesome. Now I really need to get this idea. And even if they don't like that design per se, it starts to get them thinking about what it would look like if they just got like an enormous piece done, right? I'll have clients, sometimes hit me up and they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to get something done on my upper arm. And I'm like, cool, go through, send me have your friend take a good straight on picture of the outside of your arm and send that to me. And I'll start sketching around with some ideas. This way, they've got an idea of what it could look like. I know the rough area that they're trying to get it done in and what their anatomy, well, a rough approximation of their anatomy and what that's going to look like. So it just makes it a lot easier for them to visualize what it could be. Um, if you do a full color rendering or a black and gray rendering, sometimes I switch back and forth with both. But I did recently find a pretty neat trick, and I will pull that up in just a second. Let's see. Where was that? Was
And
under
drawing
here.
small, man, I can't tell you how much that's really just kind of just revolutionized my ability to draw larger pieces
Oh,
quicker and with
absolutely.
more efficiency.
Absolutely. When you draw small and you thumbnail it
It's
out,
huge.
even if it's a small thumbnail, maybe 2 or 3 inches by like 3 or 4 inches or 4 or 5 inches or whatever. When you draw small and then you blow it up, number one, that tattoo is going to read well from across the street. And the smaller you draw it, the better it's going to look from a further distance. So keep that in mind, right? Because when people move away from you visually, they're getting smaller because of the rule of perspective in art, photography, whatever. As people move away from you visually, they get smaller. So, if depending on how clearly you want that design to be read from what distance will depend on how small you should draw that tattoo. If you want something to really stand out from 30 feet away, draw it tiny and then blow it up to fit their back or arm or whatever. And that's how it's going to look when it's finished, and that's how easily it will be read from that distance. The bigger you draw it initially, that's how good it will look at that size from a closer distance. Now, granted, we're not usually checking out people's back pieces from 40 or 50 feet away. Usually it's one of those things where we see someone walking around at a convention. Maybe they've got, maybe it's another tattoo artist and they're not wearing a shirt and they're tattooing or whatever. And you want to be able to see that tattoo from across the convention hall, right? That's going to make a statement. That's going to be easily read. But a lot of times when you start to see people that try to get a whole lot of different stuff done, even if it's in an area like a back piece, the further away they move, the more muddy that image gets, and you start to lose what it is. And it's like, okay, well, from that distance, you can't really tell what anything is. Kind of looks like a whole bunch of jumble of different stuff. But if you go with one thing and you do it pretty big, it will be clearly visible from a distance away. It's a little trick that I've picked up from talking to different people I know that work in Asia and different countries out there that do full body suits all the time. The biggest they draw when they're conceptualizing a design is like 4x6 because they know if they draw it, a full bodysuit at 4x6, and they put that bodysuit on someone, they know it's going to look great. Number one, it's going to have the longevity, and number two, it's going to look great from a distance, and everything is going to be visually cohesive. So it's just a little trick. If you draw small, you're going to draw faster, and it's going to hold up a lot better over time. Food for thought. I did come up and stumble across a couple of different ideas on how to go through and do color mock-ups very, very quickly. So I'm just going to run through that real quick. That was on my agenda for today. And let's do this. So, say you're having a consultation with someone. This is the dragon back piece that I recently booked. Say you're having a consultation with someone. You want to show them some colors, and maybe we'll just desaturate this real quick. And then maybe make this a little lighter. Cool. So, say you've got like a black and gray mock up, and they're like, well, I was thinking color. And you're like, okay, what color? Right? And they're like, I don't know, maybe like dark reds. Cool. Take your black and gray value study, come over here to gradient map, right? That's going to be under the adjustments menu. When you click on gradient map, if you have everything done in black and gray, and the higher the contrast, the better, you can then go through and show them. Let's do, there's dark, medium red. Maybe we don't want to go too dark, so maybe we'll do more of like there. So you can literally show them how it would look just very quickly, and you don't even have to color the whole thing in. You can literally take your black and gray design that you've come up with, and you can go through and say, okay, that's what it looks like in reds. If we did all reds, if we want to get super funky, we can go with like, we can really kind of show some bizarre color schemes. That's when I was playing around with the other day. Red, blue, and green, kind of like on a TV screen. I was like, oh, yeah, vintage, retro. Here's another one. This one's called Neon. Some of these are built in. This one's called Blaze, which is pretty cool. It goes from like a black to like a burnt orange to a nice golden yellow to white. But the higher the contrast level you have, the better it's going to appear. Now, what you do have to do is make sure that you have every value range in there from a pure white to a hard black. And that will allow you to use some of these color sliders, right? So say this one's got a little bit too much purple in it, right? We'll move the color slider down because this is all going based off of the value of that black and gray color study that you just did, right? So it's a very easy way to go through and conceptualize, hey, this is what it could look like if we did it with like some purples and teals, with maybe we want to go with like a brighter lime green in there, or maybe we want to do like a yellow or an orange. So it's an easy way to kind of go through and just conceptualize it right in front of your client, just to kind of show them what the possibilities could be. I did want to go over that with everyone because this has like completely changed the game for me. It's also a good way to see your values. If you work in black and gray, sometimes it's a good way to go through and kind of differentiate the values that you're looking for in your black and gray piece. Because by having different colors at different areas, you can very easily go through and see, okay, well, if teal is like my 75%, and I've got purple at say 25%, with yellow being my brightest white. Actually, we'll bring teal down to 50, that down to 75. We'll add another color, pure white. So I can very easily go through and see anything that's teal is going to be my 50%. Anything that's yellow is going to be like my 75%. Anything purple is going to be 25%. And then anything back here, we'll just put that one at black. Black is going to be my absolute black. So it's a very easy way to go through and just kind of differentiate and pick out what values you're going to be using when you're tattooing a black and gray piece. It just kind of gives you a different visualization of what values you should be using when you're tattooing that piece. Works great for if you're doing portraits, for picking out those individual areas of tone. It's a great way to go through and kind of visualize it as far as when you're applying the tattoo, what values should you use. So just a little tattoo hack there. And we'll click on done. I also have a black and white gradient here just to take it back to monochromatic. Or you can get like super funky, like
So
mocha's a
this
real
is
funky one.
you. So this you don't. So you do this, but so you don't actually have to sit there and painstakingly take it with the color pencils or markers or paint. You can just sit here and procreate and just play with these colors.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Right now, the only thing that it won't do that I'm still trying to work on something else. You might have to create a completely separate layer to do this. Is say you wanted the underbelly to be a different color scheme, you would have to create an individual layer for the underbelly of this dragon. And let's get back to something a bit brighter. This way everyone can see. So if I wanted to say do it in reds, but I wanted the underbelly to be purples, right? Or like a really weird off tone grayed out like teal or a pale blue or something like that, I would have to go through and create a separate layer just for the underbelly area that's also done in black and gray before I could use a separate gradient map for that. So it's a good way to just kind of visually conceptualize it. But I mean, you could also very easily go through and say, okay, let me create another clipping mask. So it's going to stay on that layer. And I will do, say I want to do some browns in the horn. I can kind of go through and just overlay this using a clipping mask just so that I can see what it would look like if I added like this nice tan in here. And then what I would recommend doing is making this. I would do either lighter color because I'm using a lighter value, or I would use something like color because color will go through and selectively change this color. Oh, and I got my drawing buddy back with me today. Um, that's her tail. Oh, you got some long nails. But Stella has returned. She's making her second debut. She's my baby. I love her very much. But as I was saying, this is a very easy way to go through just by using a clipping mask and then switching the layer type. You can go through and kind of just color right over top of it. Once again, it makes it very easy to go through and just visualize things. It's kind of a quick way to just, mock it up real quick. So that's with a brown horn. Maybe I want to add some brown to the nails. This would kind of be in the background, but it's not going to change the value at all. All it's going to do is overlay a color over top of what's already there. You can see that just as I did that spike. It's just kind of going through and overlaying that color and switching that red to a brown. So, just a kind of quick little mock-up hack so you can go through and show your clients what it could look like a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. Maybe this will help someone out there. Who knows? But it's a little trick that I found that really kind of makes things a lot easier in the long run. Once again, it can help you sell a design if, say you want to do more color work. Start doing stuff like this and playing around with it. You would be absolutely surprised at just how effective that can be in helping you sell a design. One of the other things I wanted to go over today, and I'll pull this up real quick, is I am working the same person that wanted to get the dragon back piece. We were originally planning on doing a snake back piece, but that has since changed since they saw the dragon. So I'm just going to be going through, and I actually did a tracing of the area that they wanted to get tattooed, and marked out a couple of different areas. Already started sketching some stuff out, but I've got like the curve of the lower gluteus maximus. This hard area over here is the furthest edge in that they would be comfortable getting tattooed. It's going to be going on a thigh, the outside of a thigh. This would be where the hip curves over, right? And I like to call this area the danger zone, because any further in than just like right at that edge of the crease of the hip, that's when you can get into trouble. So I typically don't tattoo people any further than like slight crease, just because it can get kind of weird. And the last thing I want to do is, make someone uncomfortable. Now I did add a little bit of extra length just to bring it down onto the thigh a little bit more. So this is just a rough approximation of the area that they will be getting tattooed. Now, what I like to do once I have my tracing, and you can even see like the little snake that I did in there, like the little pink sketchy lines. What I typically like to do from here is I'll go through and I'll start off pretty light. I have a number of different snake brushes that I like to pick from. My favorite so far is the Snake Kit by Tattoo Smart. Definitely recommend you pick this up. If you don't already have it, this will save you countless hours of sketching and drawing snakes. I am not paid by Tattoo Smart to promote their products, by the way. I do know Russ. He is a really awesome dude. And I do know a couple other people that work with him. And that's fine, but I do not get paid to promote their stuff, so don't think this is a paid advertisement. It is not. I paid for all of this stuff. Using the snake kit, like I said, I usually try to start out at a lighter color, maybe an orange or like a deep dark yellow or like a yellow ochre or something like that. Typically, I will also tint my canvas down. This way I can see the colors a little bit better. There's a number of different ways you can do it. You can start out at the top and just kind of work your way down. Or you can start down at the tail and work your way up. Either way works. Um, just kind of depends on a personal preference. Let's try this guy. Yeah, this one needs to be rotated. This one's a little too small, but it should work. We'll just make it a little bigger. Now, I do typically like to show movement, especially in the lower part of the snake. So that's where I'll give it a lot more twists and turns. And it just kind of gives it that like flow. That's actually pretty decent. Um, I like using the snake kit brush simply because well, not simply, but because once I do that, I can go through with a darker color, just like I would be sketching out on tracing paper. And it'll give you these little dots to indicate your center line in the middle of the back ridge of the snake. And it'll also already mark out your underbelly scales, even though those would be hidden. But this underbelly would be visible here if it was moving away, or if it's moving towards you, you could follow this dotted line and move it back and around, which means this part of the underbelly would be visible. So it's a very quick and easy way to kind of lay out a snake. Um, I always recommend, and I will advocate this until the absolute day that I die. If you are trying to draw something, don't immediately skip to using Procreate brushes that will do it for you. Learn how to draw it by hand first, and then you can start to use the shortcuts. When we rely too heavily on using nothing but shortcuts, we don't truly have an understanding of the subject that we're trying to draw. Even if we think we do, we won't necessarily know if something is going to look right. And if we have to adjust it on the fly, we're going to be completely lost. Because in real life, there is no Procreate brush that will allow us to draw right on the skin um, in this kind of a repeating pattern. So we may get a little lost and we may get a little flustered if, say, our client doesn't tell us they already have a tattoo in this area. Well, now I have to go through and redraw part of the snake body. But if I already know how to draw it by hand, it's going to be very easy to do. So I always try to stress to people that, listen, learn how to draw it by hand first, then start using these kinds of shortcuts. Um, but I mean, you can already kind of see this snake coming together. There's the underbelly, and then this we would kind of bring down this way because I want this to travel backwards. Bring this down. Drawing scales can be really, really difficult for some people. I can't blame them because it can be very frustrating to me as well. I have, though, over the years developed a bit of a method to draw scales pretty quickly. Okay, Stella, that hurts. You're digging your claws into my leg, and I do not like that. And if you continue to do so, I will have to get you off of my lap. I'm sorry you guys can't see Stella anymore. She's down here. She's helping me draw the snake today. So we can kind of already start to see this snake coming together. I would come through as I was sketching the outline of the body. I'll create a new layer. I'll drop the opacity down a little bit and make the size a little bit bigger. From here, I would draw a big oval for the head. Even though real snake heads are typically only the width of the body of the snake. So that's an easy way to go through and just kind of figure out, is my head in a good proportion? Sometimes they are a little bit wider. Sorry, you had to go. Not my fault. Sometimes the head, depending on the type of snake that you're trying to draw and the style that you're trying to draw that snake in, the heads can be a bit wider. For the style of snake that I'm trying to draw today, and I'm just kind of mocking out, it's okay if it's a bit smaller because it's going to be a very stylized snake. Um, it's not going to be super realistic or anything like that. I really kind of like the way that this mouth is moving. Maybe we'll have it twisting around a little bit. You know, if I wanted to bring the jaw and open the jaw up, I could easily do that. The important thing to remember when drawing a snake head is that the front of the head, and I'll switch to maybe purple, the front of the head here and the jaw here need to be parallel. If those areas and those lines are not parallel, your snake will always look like it has a messed up jaw. Okay, so always remember that. Those always need to be parallel. Now, by doing that, I did notice that this jaw was not parallel with the front head of the snake. So I would draw a parallel line there first, and then maybe bring this back and around. Even though I still don't think that looks right, but maybe we'll give it a really open jaw. And then we'll just bring the scale ridge around the mouth right up and over. You know, just keeping it loose and sketchy. I'm not really super concerned with, accuracy or anything like that right now. I'm just kind of sketching and doodling and seeing what works. I still don't think this jaw is at the right perspective, so I'm going to redraw that. Too far back. So if I have the eye here, that's better. I could very easily take this and develop this a little bit further. Or since I was drawing the head on a different layer, I could always create a new layer, maybe go back through, maybe I want the head to be just a little bit more plain. Maybe at a little bit of a different perspective. The important thing is to study the anatomy of whatever it is you're trying to draw, whether it's a snake or a dragon, even though dragons are chimeras and they're made up of multiple different animals. If you understand the anatomy of those individual animals, drawing the animal part for that dragon is going to become a piece of cake. We'd have, there's going to be a plane here for where the jaw opens up. And then it would be another plane. I've gotten into the habit of really like kind of narrowing down the planes for when I go through and I start to shade things in. Um, for example, this would be a different plane. This would have a different angle. This would have a different angle. In fact, I would probably do another one here. So these are all different planes so that if we think about it in a very flat two-dimensional or very angular three-dimensional way or a flat two-dimensional way, we can kind of go through and pick out where that light would be hitting, and then that would tell us how we want to shade that area. Now, I'm not quite at that point yet, but I'll get there eventually. Maybe we'll give it some fangs, create another layer, maybe do a darker red or purple. Lately, I've been favoring purple over red. Um, Not quite sure why or what's going on, but maybe it's because I know if you mix purple and red, you get a really nice deep burgundy red. Just cools it down just a hair. The one problem that you always will run into the more and more you draw certain things is it becomes more and more difficult to get away from the things and the way that you've always drawn them. It's something that plagues me and just gets to me after so long. So revisiting and trying to draw things in certain styles can really, really be tricky sometimes. Um, for example, the person that wants this snake wants a much more traditional Japanese style snake to lay out those heads. In the past, I've done like a two oval system, and where these ovals kind of line up will kind of tell you exactly where things need to be. Because this would be like the opening of the mouth, and then we would have an eye here. But they are a bit more simplistic and a bit more traditional, which means they're not going to have too much detail in them. So, I mean, we could even get away with doing something like this. Maybe I'd make that eye a little bigger. I just recently found out that it is the year of the snake this year, which is awesome because I absolutely adore drawing snakes. I just think they're some of the most interesting things you could ever possibly draw. They can fit in any spot, in any area. You can get them to look mean and nasty and angry, or calm and peaceful and elegant. Um, you can depict them in any number of different ways. They've got a very deep, significant cultural history, depending on the culture you're looking at. They're often revered as deities in other cultures. So it's just, an ultimate appreciation. That, and I've always been fascinated by them. I just love the way that they look and move and how many different kinds there are and the fact that they're super, super cool. The head looks a little big, so maybe we'll shrink that down a little bit and make that a little bit more proportionate. If we wanted to, we could distort it a little bit or warp it, but I think for now, we've got a pretty solid start. Could very easily go through and refine it. Now, if I was going to do the underbelly, that would come out here. This would curve this way a little bit. And then this would be the back center line that cuts across and comes down over the front. From here, if I wanted to add like one of those really crazy swoopy tongues, maybe I'll do that in like a pink. But for that, I actually use the studio pen. I don't know if you guys utilize this at all, but I'll take the opacity down to like 35% or something like that. But it's got a really nice long taper. And it's also super pressure sensitive, so I can kind of get these really nice, like, kind of twists and turns with it. Maybe I'll have the tongue coming up this way. So it's one very easy way to kind of start your snake. I really do kind of like the body positioning on this guy, so I'll probably use this body. I've done plenty of other sketches. Just create a group and we'll hide that. This was the first group that I was working on. Kind of similar, but still a little bit more open. That was one sketch for the head, and then I did another one, and then I did another one, and then I did another one. Well, actually, that one's just refining that one. But I still feel like it's a little too open in this area. Let me get back to here. I feel like this is still a little too open. It doesn't really draw your eye up and around quite as much. So that's why I'm kind of partial to this other body that I have that I just sketched up. This one I think shows enough of the twists and turns. And really does kind of bring your eye up here a little bit more, but then this will bring your eye back up and around a bit more. So I may develop this one a little bit further, But if you guys stay tuned, I might actually do a live stream of me tattooing this on Saturday. So stay posted because I'll I'll walk you guys through everything from lining and shading to how I came up with different back patterns and scale patterns. Um, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can go through and shade the back portion of a snake. You don't have to use full scales all the time. It's a common misconception. You don't have to draw each individual scale. But those scales that you do draw typically need to be drawn accurately. So knowing how to draw scales is kind of a big thing. Um, I've gotten pretty proficient at it over the years. So for me, I could sit down and do full scale pattern on this pretty quickly. You'll see certain snakes that just have like these oval patterns on their back. Some are black with like dots on either side. It's almost like a chaotic pattern. It's pretty crazy, pretty funky. Um, so depending on the direction that I take this, you guys will just have to stay tuned and see how it turns out. And I'll probably end up showing you on Saturday if you guys are interested. Does anyone have any questions or any comments, anything like that? No? No comments? No questions? Nothing? Is there anything you would like me to cover during a live tattoo? I know there's a little bit of a delay on YouTube, so I'm just being patient with it. That's why I might go quiet for a minute. No? Nothing? Okay. Well, that kind of covers today. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Thank you. That kind of covers it for today. If anyone ever has any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. You can find my Instagram. It's literally right up here. Oop. It's at Philly Inc. See if I can make that a little bit bigger. There we go. We'll just put that right there. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that that you want me to discuss. Maybe even during the next show or anything you want me to tackle drawing. If you're having problems drawing something, let me know. I'll be happy to tackle it if I can. Um, yeah, just shoot me a message and let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you were out in the northeast coast of the United States and you got a bit of snow, have fun with that. I spent most of the morning shoveling and I'm kind of sore and tired, so I'm probably going to take a nap at some point in time today because I love nap time. Stella will probably be there joining me. So, yeah. But thank you very much for watching today. Keep your hands moving, keep it sketchy, keep sketching, and I will catch you guys, if not Saturday, next Monday for the 182nd episode here of Skill Building Mondays live with me, Jason Leeser, on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys then.